fan is directly behind me. If you hear it, I need the ventilation. I'm in my shed. If I could adjust my camera, I had it fit for yesterday. I was doing an unboxing. Yeah, hello. So, if you guys had seen, I was working on this guy yesterday. I popped the stone in, and I'm gonna pop the stone out now. That's why I had the elastic in there. Oh, Cameron, that's okay. So I soldered it yesterday. I soldered, so the silver part is, and this needs to be cleaned again. The silver part is fine silver bezel wire. I soldered that, and then I soldered that onto this copper plate. And this copper plate, this back plate's pretty thick. I went ahead and stamped it, but I tried maybe like 5 or 6 times yesterday to solder it on, because I was having the most difficult time joining these pieces. And I went back and I watched a few videos, and a lot of people tend to work with silver rather than copper or any other material because they all have different heating points. So I found that out. And also I needed to get more flux. And so today I actually have a jeweler by me that sells flux instead of waiting to get BGcation. I do have this Cuprinil. It is the flux, but I wanted something a little bit, I wanted to try something different. So today what I'm going to try to do is possibly see about taking what I did yesterday and putting it together. I have my file. I'm making a ring. I had a stone set in here. I gotta find it. I feel like I'm chasing myself all the time in here, but basically I'm making a ring. I have a little turquoise stone here that I'm going to be putting in here. So this is what I'm making, and I'm going to turn it into a ring, and then I did do some stamping and some embellishments on it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be making a ring. And yesterday I measured out my ring band, and I was so frustrated because I could not get these two pieces soldered together that I just had to put everything away and leave it alone. So I had everything the way I wanted yesterday, and now it's all silly willy. But isn't that the way it works? So I found, or it might even be on the floor. No, it's okay. Okay. So that's what I'm doing today. Making sure that I have all flammable pieces away. A few other parts. I did find my my saw blades, which I was really excited about. Here, saw blades. Hi, Wendy. So that's what I'm attempting to do now, is to go over what I did. I ended up, like I mentioned, going to my jewelry store today, and I picked up some tweezers because all I had was cross-locking tweezers, which is perfect for soldering. It's like a third hand, but I didn't have any tweezers. So I went ahead and picked some of those up and such. So here they are, tweezers. Hi, Jude. I know there's a lot going on tonight, but I figured I would just hop on here and have a little fun. Why not? I have my torch, but really, I'm trying to find my ring band. I made it all yesterday. I bought this that's solder, copper solder aluminum. I bought this, so I have an aluminum tray underneath here. Dang, I'm gonna cut another one and then I'm gonna find it, and that's really gonna frustrate me. But whatever. All right. So I looked up yesterday what a size 9 was, and I gave myself a little extra running room. Hi. And because I knew I was gonna goof. I mean, let's put it plainly, I was gonna goof. So my goal in this is, of course, number 1, to solder this a little bit better, to solder the bezel to the back plate a little bit better, now that I have more flux. And then I'm wanting to take silver wire, sterling silver, and attach it to the back of this. Solder it to the back of this. What I would like to do, since the stone fits snugly, and since I found my saw blades, what I would like to do, if possible, is create a stone hole. So after I solder this a little bit better, because I don't know if you guys can see, there's some light. You can see it right there. There's some light going through. This is my first time, so it's not going to be 100% great, but you get the gist. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to resolder and I already have some medium solder here, but I'm going to cut some more. I soldered the bezel together with hard solder, and then I'm doing medium and then soft, or easy rather. Obviously, what my thing was, I was like, usually there's a cork under the stone, isn't there? I don't know, I'm asking. Just as long as there's a flame resistant surface underneath here, I should be good. And I'm just gonna take my flush cutters, which I got off of Amazon, and they suck. And I should have known that they were gonna suck because I got them cheap. But I'm gonna take my medium solder, and I tend to like, with working with the different ones yesterday, under the stone, and setting. Some people do put that extra buffer. I know Sandy uses sawdust underneath her setting stone. Are you talking about this? My kiln brick? Let me know. But I'm just gonna cut some medium solder here, and I just need little pallions, what they're called. Sorry if I'm missing anyone's comments. And another obstacle that I figured yesterday was, since I have this fan on for air and ventilation, it does tend to mess with the heat. No, under the stone as a filler. Well, the way that I have it set just in the right, I sanded it down so that the curve of the stone sits so it'll hold it. Plus, since this is a scalloped edge, directly and permanently under the stone to raise the setting. I hope I answered the question. Because of how this stone is, it's a thinner stone, and see the point where it starts to round off. I went ahead and sanded it down so that it fits just. So when these go, they're just gonna claw and grab. I didn't want to use any kind of adhesives or anything. So I'm gonna take a little bit more than I think I necessarily need. Scrape off the solder that I was attempting to use yesterday. It's still me. I got my Chelsea shirt on. I like her a lot. I think she's fun. So anyways, I'm gonna cut these in little bits here so that I have stuff to work with and fill in my gap. I'm really excited. And today I have a little bit more patience. Yesterday I was so excited. And today I was wondering about that shirt. Yeah, it's the Mona Lisa and she's smoking a cigarette. Chelsea Lynn is, her alter ego is Trailer Trash Tammy. I don't necessarily care for Trailer Trash Tammy, but I love Chelsea Lynn. I follow her and I'm like, you know, I gotta support her, and she's just a rockin' chick in my opinion. Another thing too is I'm left-handed, so a lot of the stuff that I see people doing is backwards for me, and it's kind of like teaching myself in a different way, if that makes sense. I've kind of dealt with it my whole life, being a left-handed person, kind of have to do things backwards. But these suck. The nipper portion wants to fold over onto itself, and it's just a no-go situation for me. So I guess I gotta buy better ones, which is a bummer. So anyways, I'm just cutting the pallions up into smaller little bits so I can use more of it. Excuse me. Did you see when she attacked Luke Bryan? They did a prank on his mom. I didn't. A lot of her videos are so cringy for me. I can't watch them. Like I said, I love Chelsea Lynn, but I can't with Tammy sometimes. I love her mukbangs, what she calls them. I think it's so cute. I love when she goes through Taco Bell. And now when I'm done with ordering, I'll try to say, that'll do me, if I can remember, because that's how she does. So I'm gonna put my solder back into the correct baggie. I can always write on this with a permanent marker, but since I only have a small amount and I'm not going nuts right now, it's how I have it. So I'm gonna put my solder away. I'm gonna put my flesh cutters away, my file away. I'm trying not to lose anything. I have my solder pick here. I have my cross locking tweezers. I have my flux. So I think my problem yesterday was I wasn't using enough flux. So we're gonna try this out and hope for the best. I don't have my pickle pot out here, full disclosure. What I do have is my Penny Bright, which I've been using. It is basically safe. It's to clean kitchen surfaces, so I think I might have accidentally ate some yesterday and I'm still breathing, so it works out. So eventually I'll have my setup with my pickle pot out here, which is just basically not having to use my hands to clean something. I do have my quench bowl full of water. I'm taking things that can be burnt into a spot where it is not burnt. I have my flux here. And let's get this set up. I have a little brush. Came from literally one of my kids' things. I thought it was me, but yeah, just a little bit. Some things kind of bother me, but you know. And I'm just gonna flux the dickens out of this. Outside, inside, I'm gonna do the walls. of the bezel. Okay. Then I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm basically just going to put all of my little pallions of solder that I have. They are small. And I'm going to put them around like a clock, basically. Bigger pieces I'm going to put towards the spaces that I see are missing more. Longer ones I'm going to put towards the sides. I definitely don't have this. I'm a newbie for sure. But basically I'm just trying to make sure to fill in all the areas. Now, I think I might have to say this every single time, but please do your research. Please wear protective garments. Please take care of yourself. I'm not a licensed jeweler. I'm doing this on the side. I'm just trying to have some fun. And don't hurt yourself. Hello, hello. So it may be a little extra, but I don't think I had enough flux yesterday, so I fluxed the dickens out of this. And I'm gonna take my brush and I'm gonna put it over there. And basically I'm going to have non-flammable items around me. Bear in mind that the heat is gonna be centralized. I have my soldering pick, so when my solder hopefully flows, I'll be able to pick it. So here we go. Jesus, take the wheel. Didn't flow. So, what I'm thinking is that it was just about to, and I turned off the flame. I get nervous. I don't want to melt it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to realign my solder, and I'm going to flux it again. Hi. I am a beginner. I am new. I'm not perfect. This is literally my first project. I'm trying. I feel like maybe I'm not using enough. Possibly. Maybe. Again, moving the solder to the sides. Jesus, take the wheel, take it from my... Not get monetized. All right, let's try this one more time, everybody. More flux. The solder's here. And it's medium solder. But I think it's because the copper, if I had like something where it raised up and I could go underneath it instead of hitting it on top, I think that'll probably work better. But I think it's because it's copper, and copper probably melts at a different temperature than the silver. So here we go. And see what I mean when I say that the wind is a factor, or rather the fan. It's good ventilation, but at the same time, it's not doing what I need. Plus I may be running out of butane, which is not fitting for this either. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's what's happening. All right. Welcome to the fail zone. Mistakes happen. I'm just gonna go ahead and quench this. And anyways, I don't know what I might have missed. Try to see if I can. You got it. I do have this huge fan right behind me, and if you can see my hair, I'm definitely not breathing in the fumes, but I appreciate everybody so much. So eventually one day I'll figure this out, but the thing is I'm not giving up. So I'm going to take this out of the quench bowl, which is a lot better than how I had it yesterday, because it was just falling apart. But now at least it's stuck together, and I'm gonna check and see if anything happens. Ugh. Got a little bit of paper towel. Yeah. That's the right attitude. She's trying. There's all my solder pallions. I think honestly that's what it is. This copper is thicker than a Snicker. And I think that's just the dealio. But anyways, I can see why people would rather work with silver. I get it. We had one that flowed a little bit. Yee! The other one's not so much. So, this is what it looks like after. It's got fire scale on it. It is dirty. You can still see that light there, which isn't good. You can see the light through there on the, looking at the bottom here. It's interesting. Life is interesting. Drink your water. So, I'm going to take my Penny Bright which basically is like a pickle. And I'm gonna clean my, I'm gonna clean this. Because that's the most important thing when you're soldering, is to have all of your metal clean. And I literally take it and I dab it on there just like that. And pick it up because it's cool enough to touch at this point. And I just go to town. And I just clean it. And I'll go ahead and do one side so you guys can see the difference, because it's just crazy next level. But there is one side compared to the other. I don't know if you can see that very well. Sometimes you got to put your little bit of elbow grease in there. But this is the side I worked, and the other side I did not. Bad example. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna clean this here. And we're gonna see. At least if I'm manhandling it, I know the solder won't pop. But anyways. 18 times the charm. So what's everybody doing this evening? Is everyone gonna watch? I'm not even gonna talk about it. Hope everyone had... Are you showing us how you make jewelry? Yeah, I'm showing you how to not do jewelry right, but... Hi, Albatross. Hello, hello. I myself am still learning. I still have a lot to learn, but I am attempting to solder and make jewelry. So I'm going to go in my little bowl here, clean off my fingers. Take my paper towel and clean. I should have brought some more paper towel out here as I look around. Oh golly. Yeah. I just can't believe it's stuck to it. However way or whatever kind of magic happened that I soldered it. It's amazing to me. But I'm just gonna take clean off my area a bit. I'm just gonna take one side of the brush and make sure I get the inside of the bezel, because there is some still. Yeah, I definitely need to fill up my my torch. It doesn't help that there's a big shop fan behind me blowing. Kind of throws off the air. So yeah, anyways, I'm just getting the penny bright off of out of the nooks and the crannies of things. And I'll probably dunk this in water one more time just to kind of rinse it off. So I really want to make sure this is clean. Oh, thank you, Wendy. I really appreciate it. And sorry if I'm not seeing everybody's comments. Thank you so much. Wow, I got 18 people in here. Golly gee, thank you so much. Just hanging out. I know I love watching Sandy do hers. I was watching her do one today and how she soldered, and I like had the phone like so close to my face to try to see if I could see what I was doing wrong. But practice makes perfect. So anyways, here it is, just a little bit more cleaned up. Yes, it needs to be cleaned up more, but it comparatively to what it was the first time, I've just brought it out of the quench bowl. It's a lot better. Could I put it in the pickle pot? Absolutely. I just don't have my pickle pot out here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of water and I'm just going to get in here really quick. And you know, I was watching the videos on how you solder, and really, it's not a lot to do with the torch. A lot of times it's all about preparation and really making sure you have have everything lined up and have everything the way you want it. I've actually soldered the bezel together, which was silver on silver, and that was a piece of cake. Hurts to breathe. I'm still nursing up. I fell down like a dingus. I might have cracked a rib. I don't think so. Feels like it though. I wish I could take a sick day, but my children won't allow me. They're pretty hard bosses. Anyways, I should have grabbed more paper towels, but all right. But like I mentioned, and I've seen a lot of people do it, and a lot of times, because this is a kiln brick, it's for beginner soldering. I know that some people have used the charcoal block, which is supposed to help radiate the heat, disperse the heat, to only help benefit your soldering. But this is what I have, and I'm going to use what I got. So let's try this again. And I may be running out of butane, and I may have to call my adult husband to help me, because I just feel like I'm not quite adult yet to fill up my butane wherever I put it. And in the meantime, I'm going to get my solder pieces. Again, this is medium, and I'm just gonna try again. One of these days I'll get a seat that's a little bit higher. I'm just using a good old lawn seat. Excuse me. Isn't she lovely? All right. Really, excuse me, that was not feminine at all. All right. Oh, another thing before I do that. I had someone actually watch my stamping video and sent me these stamps. So I'm probably going to hammer some of these out today, which is just totally non-related to the soldering. But these are aluminum blanks to stamp stuff out on, and you know I've got these stamps, one and the same. So that's another fun thing I wanted to open while I was on camera. So that's how you fill up your torch. Got your little doodad down here. And this is actually your stand. It can come off. I'm doing this in increments because I'm a puss. And you also don't want to light your torch immediately after filling up your butane tank, because there's butane in the air. So yeah, there's that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to put a little bit because I'm chicken. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid back on top of here. Notice there's no children around me. And I'm going to sit back down. So again, I'm not going to light my torch because number one, I'm chicken, and number two, you shouldn't. So I've got this vise, and while I let the butane disperse into the air, I'm going to take a blank and I'm going to stamp some stuff on it. This is aluminum, so it's really soft, so you want to be careful. There's also a coating on here as well, Just want to make sure that you take that off, because if you stamp on it, it's gonna leave your stampy all wonked out. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be good. Look at me, I can't even get it off. Stamp has a little bench block here. I'm gonna take my hammer and my heart and freestyle it. And make sure the heart is the right way. Hi, Mare! And just like that. It's a cutie. I was looking at more stamps today too, because I was like, why not? And of course, if this was something that you're doing, you may want to, you can always marker on top of it or make a straight line on it. But I'm just doing this for funsies, waiting for the butane to disperse, because I'm a chicken. These are pretty thick. So there you go. Yeah, it's very fun to stamp. It's pretty much it's crazy. So these are thick ones. So I did get sent these, and they're not very soft. The Hobby Lobby ones are a lot softer than this. So I'm pleased with these. That's fun. That's a fun little thing. So I'll take that in. Move my little vise here. I have two. I have this one, which is not attached to anything, and I have one other one. I do prefer something that's not as soft, just because I tend to be a little heavy-handed. So I like that a little bit better. All right. I'm gonna try this. I was using medium solder, which comparative to soft, it's in the middle. So you have hard solder, medium solder, and easy solder. And if you can guess it, easy solder is the easiest to flow. When heat, it has a lower heating point. Hard solder is a lot harder. When you're working on something that has more than one step to heat, you tend to want to use hard, medium, easy. It's just that way you're not burning off what you did, and you don't have to, you're not ruining your chances of melting your project or compromising your solder. So I'm gonna take the easy, and I'm gonna see if that's maybe my problem, or I can fix the line. So I'm just gonna be cutting myself a little bit of pallions here. This is trial and error, really is. And I know that I'm gonna be going through and messing up quite a bit of things, I'm sure, in the first little bit. So bear with me here. You guys are on this adventure with me. But yeah. And like I mentioned, just cutting little ones. You don't need a whole heck of a lot. At least in this case, your girl does. Okay. So I got that. Butane should be dispersed at this point. Putting all the non-flammable items away. Oh my gosh. Where did you get your my torch? I actually got the starter set, the starter soldering kit from beeducation.com. Education. It was under $150 for everything, for the most part, excluding safety stuff. So this is all the stuff that came with it. You got your torch, kiln brick, some solders, pick, tweezers, some paste, and some penny bright, which is like your pickle, but not so much. And then the rest of this stuff, you'll need other stuff. So it was actually really affordable. And I've just slowly and surely started adding different things to it. My pile of stuff. This hasn't been a one and done kind of situation because it's kind of expensive. So okay, so I have my, let's do this. I'm gonna hit it with my flux again, and I'm gonna hit it all over. Just gonna coat this sucker, because the flux tells the solder where to flow, and I want to fill those gaps. Wow, Mare, that's nuts. That is something I could not do. So more power to you. So I'm going to take my little pallions, which really are so small. That one shot out of my hand. I've got more. And I'm going to stick them around like a clock. And we'll say a little prayer that it'll work for me. And we'll try it again. Checking the spaces where there is lifts. I got my solder pick. Say a prayer. Let's try this again. All right, everybody. Wash your gloves. Hey! My phone. Okay. Oh no! It said low battery. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Well, I got it. And I give it a second. I'm sorry. There's no way I was gonna stop and press the button on my phone. So I got it. It is black. There's the back. So sorry. There will be more times. I'm gonna go ahead and quench this. It's the sound. It was really hot. And for the life of me, I cannot find, what are you saying, Elijah? Oh yeah, that I was frozen. Yeah. Okay. There will be more. Okay. So, what I'm going to do right now is, I'm going to measure for a ring band that I'm going to hopefully use for this project. I'm going to take my caliper. Huh? Yeah, it's right here, but I was by fire and I didn't want to have any kind of heat by there. But now I'm not going to be working with heat. Yes, this is 12 gauge dead soft half round sterling silver wire. I actually ended up getting this. Thank you so much. I actually ended up getting this on Amazon. I also have this one, which is, that's bezel. This is the one, another one that I got. It's maybe this is 10 gauge. 10 gauge, 12 gauge. And then I got some bezel. Bezel wire. So, because, shame on me, I cannot find what I did with my other one yesterday, that just means eventually I'll find a ring and we'll go from there. I looked it up and I think it was like 58 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten out this silver wire, but not so much because I don't want to have to anneal it. And I'm going to measure, I'm going to turn this on to 0. And I want to take it to 30, which if I goof on it, was it 30? No, it was 60, which ends up being around a size 9. And so what I'm going to end up doing is I have my flesh cutters and I take a little file. I'm going to hit the end of this, which is not 100% flat. Then I'm going to take the end of this and I'm going to line it up, stuck at 60, and I'm going to notch it. I'm going to take my flesh cutters, making sure I'm hitting it on the flush side. Line that guy back up. I take my wrap and tap that I ended up getting. This just helps bend it into a circle so it can go on your finger. Easier than just really trying to bend it around your finger. There we go. And what I think I'll do, hi Mom, is because I'm probably gonna have to look into more research about how I attach a ring band, and I'm gonna have to file it such, and I'm not 100% confident. What I'm gonna probably end up doing right now is just making a little ring with this sterling silver. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it so that they're pretty close together. Then I'm going to take my flat ones here, bend it in towards each other. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, but what I do have to do, because I don't know if you guys can see, these are not straight and flush. I'm going to have to take this file and I'm going to have to file it. I've watched a few people make tricks, do tricks, that if you get them close together and you hit the file on the both sides in between it, just like this. Let me see if I can get it. Just like this in between there. So it's like the protein on your sandwich. So you're hitting it on both sides. But basically you want to make it flat as possible so that you get a good solder seam. And that's why I cut it a little bit extra, is because I knew I was going to file some away. And I wanted to make sure that I had enough material. So like I said, a lot of it is prep. A lot of it is doing other work, not a lot of torch work. So I will eventually have to get better files than these little tiny ones. Maybe I'll put it on my Christmas list for Santa. I know that you can use like an emery board, and I do have some flat ones, but some people also use their jeweler saw and cut it flat, but I haven't even yet to begun using my jeweler saw yet. A little intimidated by that. So I'm just gonna hit this. Again, this is like just a flat one. Just gonna hit this in between. It's gonna take a little bit longer since I'm doing things more manually than normal. If I were to use a machine, I could use my ring clamp here and set this in here, or use a vise that I don't have. But that's not really gonna help. So I could take my ring clamp here and make sure that you want to be as straight and careful as possible so you're not losing too much material, and just go from there. I am almost there to have a flat line. Let's see if I'm getting a lot of see if I got a bigger one in here. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger, but it's more fine. Maybe I should look at it before I take it out of the bag. Okay. I'm going to take, there is a gap here. I'm going to take it so that I'm getting it as close as I can here. I'm going to overlap it, underlap it, so that I'm basically no longer going to have any kind of light shine through. That's the goal. And I can always reshape it after. You want to check the underside as well. And that's really what I'm looking for, is to have no light or any kind, basically how it would look like. And that's my goal. So, I'm going to tip it on its side here. And with the kiln brick, you can kind of like mar it a little bit so that your ring will sit like magic. I'm going to take some medium solder because I think I might solder something else on top of it, like a little something or whatever. You definitely want to make sure that if you want to stamp it, you stamp it before you solder it. It's just so that you don't risk busting your solder seam. I swear, little trolls take my stuff, so I can never find it. Drama. Alright. And I should just need just the tiniest amount on this one. And there I go. Put it back in the bag. This segment of Soldering Chronicles is going to be called Devan Wastes a Lot of Stuff. Alright. So, I'm going to take my flux, move any flammable things out of the way. Yes. I'll make a little bit more of a divot in here so I can rest my ring like that. Are you serious? Or I can use my third hand, but why not? Okay, so I'm going to take my flux and I'm going to flux the area. Oh, that's a good thing, so I can flux the underside too. Fluxy, fluxy, flux. There we go. Little dabble. I'm gonna take my piece of solder and I'm gonna put it right in the seam. I'm gonna say a little prayer and let's do it. There's no flammable objects near me. Use protective gear when you're gonna do this. I'm not a jewelry expert. And my piece of solder flew off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reflux it, not touch it, and I'm going to stick my solder back on here. Alright. Figure out how to do this left-handed so I can hold my solder pick in one hand. But for right now, I'm comfortable with it being in the left. So here we go. The fluxes begin to crystallize. Seeing a glow in the ring. And I'm going to tip the ring over And my solder came through. Okay. Take it, punch it. Yay! It happened! So, yeah, it's easier to solder silver, but, you know, it is what it is. Little victories. Alright, so I'm going to take it out of the quench, and it is not the prettiest, but there is where I soldered. So with some buffing and some getting together, hey, cool. All right. So I'm gonna take some Penny Bright, which would be pickle. Take a little bit, put it on here. Thanks, Mom. And I'm gonna rub-a-dub-dub to get a lot of the fire scale off of here. I made a ring. Look at me, Mom. All right. So here it is. There is my ring. You can see the solder seam. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my file that I had. I'm going to take a little bit of a higher grit one, because similar to the one that I was using before, so I can knock down some of that solder, and then I'm going to use a higher grit to buff it out. So here I go. Retrospectively, I should have got bigger files. But I do have 400 grit wet dry sandpaper. It's just the same. I'm going to take it and buff down that solder seam. And you can see that it's a lot less noticeable. It's still there, obviously, and the ring is not shaped. I didn't bring my mandrel out here, but it's a freaking ring, yo! Cool. I'm pretty geeked out, in case you didn't know. This has been a long time coming. I really never thought I'd get to this point. I don't know why I psyched myself up like that. It's kind of ridiculous. The next thing would be is to grab a mandrel, and hi Rose, to grab a mandrel and to place it on here and take like a rubber mallet and beat it to shape, basically, is what you're gonna do. And then you can decide if you want to solder something on top of it. If you had like an extra piece of something. I mean, I don't know about working, but you know, there's a crescent moon. You solder that to have a two-tone kind of ring. You can make a bezel and solder it on there with the stone. Possibilities are endless. But one ring. Some say rubber mallet. Rubber mallet. So yeah, there it is. There it was. So yeah, and then here's the other one that I was working on. Try to see if, can't really see any of the light come through it anymore. So I'm really pleased with that. This is what it looks like, obviously, before you clean it with the Penny Bright. You can see all the, it looks really cool in the back. But literally, all it takes is some elbow grease. Where's your mandrel? Inside the house. I just wasn't really prepared. What's new, right? Did someone say rubber mallet? It sounds like fun. Oh yeah. So I'm just gonna go ahead and clean this. It's honestly, I don't remember where I put my rubber mallet. Just grab a little bit more, give attention to the back. Because that's what I'm gonna do next, is I'm gonna turn this into a ring. She's bold. How did I make that? I soldered it with fire. So yeah, literally using my fingers and cleaning the fire scale off. This is a copper eagle silver bezel, and I just made a sterling silver ring. So yeah, Penny Bright is safe to use with the kitchen. I'm gonna go ahead and use my little bowly woly here, and we'll see. Clean this off a little bit. Woo! Like I mentioned, this was a long time coming for me. I don't know why I psyched myself up so much. I'm excited. All these songs I want to sing, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. How's everybody doing? I'm doing great. If my husband's still watching and he wants to bring out some paper towels, I wouldn't be mad about it. Not going to use my Chelsea shirt. So here's the back. You saw how it was before. It's cleaned up. Granted, it could really be cleaned up some more. However, this is where it is. Oh, you're changing a diaper. No worries. Thank you for changing a diaper. Really appreciate it. So, I'm going to clean out my bezel a little bit more, as it's got a little bit of buildup. And then I'm going to cut another piece of silver, and I'm gonna attempt to turn this into a ring. Again, I'm new to this. This is not gonna be a perfect thing. It's almost gonna be hilarious. Well, we're having fun. We're giggling. Giggly piggly. Okay, so I'll let this air dry, which probably won't take too long since it's in the air and there's air all around us. And I'm going to use another piece of the silver, and I'm going to measure it the same as I did before, around 60 millimeters. And this time, instead of closing the gap, my goal is to make it so that when it comes around the shank, I'm going to have it flat. So instead of flattening it in the, filing it in the middle to make a flush seam so it meets like this, like I did with this ring, I'm going to bring them together a little bit, and then I'm going to file the top of it so it's going to lay flat. So when I sit it on there, it's going to sit flat on there, and it's going to be a ring. I'm just going to do it. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I think I'm explaining things right, and my husband's like, what? And I'm like, duh. And then it's not. It's never. It's never. So I'm also going to take my little file, which I use as like a pen. Take the ends, measure it, mark it with the bee, throw it in the oven. You can also use a pencil. Measure twice, cut once, right? I'm going to take my flesh cutters, and I'm going to cut on the outside of where I marked it. Making sure that it's flush and as straight as possible. There she blows. And here we go. So now I'm going to take my wrapping tape. It's right in front of my face. I'm going to turn my scalpel and proceed to doing what I said I was going to do. Which is bringing it around town. All right. So as you can see here, I've brought it in. I'm going to use the smallest, I know you probably can't see, I'll get this stuff situated. And I'm going to take the smallest little spot, and I'm going to kind of smoosh it inwards. This is the kind of look that I'm going for, just like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to file this more or less flat. And that way it could sit properly on the back of this flat surface, just like this. So it'll be a ring. So I'm going to take my, you know, I at first was, you know, a little nerve-wracking. I'm going to take some 400 grit. Oh my God. That's okay. I'll find it. Thank you so much. Cool. So I'm just gonna wipe this off a little bit better now. Even when I go inside and I take this inside, I'll probably pickle it or maybe take some more time to clean it, especially after I soldered it this last time. But it is clean. I'm gonna put this back so still can use it. I'm gonna take this here with my 400 grit sandpaper in circular motions. Probably not gonna sound great. Sorry about that. Try to get it flat, at least a little bit. And you can see that it's sort of coming together. You can see when I tilt it here that this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a more flattened area there. And so ideally, that's what I'm looking for, is for it to be flat. And I'm gonna bend it a little bit more. I'm just trying, who knows? I'm gonna zhuzh it so that it's flat on flat. Zhuzh. A little zhuzh. I don't have a soldering iron. I think of Joe Dirt when I think of soldering iron. So yeah. Again, taking my sandpaper. Add a little bit of water to it. Why not? Let's go crazy. I'm gonna knock it a little bit, see if I can't do it. Ha 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 ha! She's improvising. She's a force to be reckoned with. She's gonna lose a fingernail. She's crazy. She doesn't know what she's doing. Which is correct. All right. Isn't she I guess I should have done that before I bent it. It's all retrospectively. So I've got a flat surface-ish. I'm gonna tilt this in-ish. See how it goes. Ish. I'm gonna grab this file one more time. I'm gonna put this away. Clean up the water. Grab my wedge. Okay. Just basically bending it so that I'm getting the most flush surface as I can here onto, and I guess I really want to look at this and make sure that I know exactly where I'm going to want the ring to start on it as well. So I'm going to take my inch ruler and I'm just going to slightly notch it. So I can see the line here. Slightly notch it. Yay! Where did you go? I miss you. Dang. There it is. Cool. All right. Here it is. So, I went ahead and scored it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. And I'm going to put the shank on those areas, most of the middle. And I'm probably going to need my third hand for this. And put it in a spot that I like it. And we're not at all intimidated by any of this process. I'm just going to move it a little bit here. I see this side still needs to be moved in a bit to straighten out. Okay, so what I have here is my ring band setting where I want it, looking at all the sides. I've made sure that it's flush and that there is no gaps. I cannot see any light. The light is right there. I can't see any light in underneath this ring. So, I'm going to take some easy solder and go from there, or soft, easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And I'm going to take my flush cutters. Flush. Keep on wanting to say flesh cutters. That's not right. And yeah, go from there. Okay, so there it is. How long have I been on? 87 minutes? Oh my god. All right. Here we go. So, I'm gonna take my flux and I'm gonna flux the dickens out of it. Literally the whole thing. You can see I moved it. That's great. So I should have fluxed it and then applied it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this underside here. I'm just gonna go nuts, and I'll readjust it in a second after I flux it. All right. Yummy. Okay, so then I'm gonna readjust. What are you saying? Flux it up. Can't see the ring? I'll pull it back. I know, it's not the best angle. You're looking at me. All right. Okay, so I see what I have. I'm gonna take my tweezers and I'm gonna put the solder on. I'm gonna put a few of them on here. At this time, I mean, I'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough. So I'm putting about 4 on here. Okay. And these will be, I'll put the rest of these ones to the side here. And I've got my ring here on my third hand situated, and I'm going to move the pallions so that they're sitting on top of the solder, so they'll fuse together. Here's hoping. So here it is, and hopefully that means they won't jump off either, but yep, I'm not gonna pick up that brush right now. That's gonna be on the floor for a second. All right, so here we go. We're moving everything away that is flammable. Our surface is clean. There's no danger. I've got my torch. We're gonna try. We're just gonna try it out. All right. What'd you say? I worked with oil-based paint enamel. I felt fluxed up. Okay. You ready? Your girl's nervous. I'm nervous. I'm gonna spray it a little bit more flux because I'm a chicken. Here we go. Flux is bubbling. didn't flow. So, what I'm thinking is this fan is harsh in my mellow. Or maybe I ran out of butane in my shorts, or something. It is not, did not. It's stuck, but the moment I quench it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flux it up a little bit more and try it again. Okay. I definitely need more butane. And it didn't flow. What I thought was it was not. But there it is. So I'm just gonna put that in the quench, clean it, and start over. Not tonight, because I don't know if I have the patience. It's not that I don't have the patience, it's I don't know if anyone will want to see it. But let's talk about the positive. This ring. I made a ring. I think the level of expertise working with, I think there's a hole in my bucket. Oh my God, you scared me. Nice. Right there.
In your pot?
Huh?
Where's the hole?
Yeah, I think there's a hole in my my quench bowl, my dog bowl. Maybe. What a dork. I don't think it's a metal that I can solder. Alright, so I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to try one more time. And if it doesn't flow for me, then I'll do it some other day. This thing's like, stop. I can't take it anymore. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do it. Thank you. It's fine. my shed. So yeah, this isn't the inside of my house. My little she shed or something along those lines. Or storage shed. It's our she shack. And for those of you who are watching, okay, I got asked last minute. There was a last minute cancellation. To be on Steals and Deals this Saturday. So that's where I'm gonna do. This Saturday is the showcase, the October Artisan Showcase, and I'm gonna be on Steals and Deals. No pressure. It's gonna be fun. Have a great time. All right, so I went ahead and cleaned this up. I've got my ring band. That's clean. No longer fire scaly. And I've got my copper. I think that's the things probably that because this copper is so thick, I'm gonna try it. Let's see how it goes. All right, here we go. So, back at it again. One more time, for good measure. I'm just lining this up to where I like it so that both sides, I may have to twist the ring, both sides of the ring band are touching the copper back and laying flush. I'm gonna flux it again. Screw the lid. This over here. I still have some leftover. Maybe future me knew I would have needed it, but some Hallions that I didn't use. It's one big long one. Flesh cutters, not flesh, flush. These cutters. like it. And the solder points closer together. It's been enough time, I think, since my husband's filled this up. Pretty confident. I don't need that much drama. All right. It's the fan. Fan's throwing me off. Just when I get the good heat going, the fan kicks up and it lowers my flame. So I'm gonna try one more time and I'm stopping. No point in beating the dead horse. And then, you know, maybe I should just work on more copper and copper kind of things to get used to copper. But even still, do it. That is not gonna work. I'm gonna try turning my fan down. Cause dag nabbit. Alright, it's at a 1 as opposed to a blast in 3. And there's still plenty of ventilation. You can see my hair moving. Everybody is fine. We're gonna do some flux spray one more time. We're gonna make sure that our solder. Is there a cat? I keep on hearing a kitty cat. And let's do it. Oh, maybe it's my torch. Yeah, looks like it's my torch. It's like it's not even full up. Huh. Can't run off that quick. Maybe it's just, maybe I'm using it too much. Yeah. All right. Well, the thing we can get out of today is I made a ring. I will leave it just like this and pick up on it tomorrow. since I might need a stronger torch, maybe. But pick up my area, clean my surface, and admire my ring. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.